Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're continuing the Tank for Bedard series. It is episode 6 today and one of the last episodes. So if you have been enjoying this series, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for all the support. I wasn't sure how this series would turn out, but it seems like you guys like it a lot. Anyways, without wasting any of your time, let's get into week 6. Alright, so last time for episode 5, I did 2 weeks worth of hockey for that episode, and I felt like it worked a lot better, so that's why there was no video last week either. I, again, waited 2 weeks worth of hockey to do episode 6, so there's just a lot more games to talk about, and just a lot more things happened, and it just makes more sense in my opinion. So let's take a look at the Florida Panthers. As you know, we have their first round pick unprotected, so this is why we're paying attention to them. This week, well, actually the past 2 weeks, they had 3 wins and 3 losses. Not too great, but they're still outside of a playoff spot now. And they also have a lot of teams creeping back up on them with the Buffalo Sabres, the Washington Capitals, and the Ottawa Senators. So if all goes well, and we're extremely lucky, the Sabres, the Capitals, and the Senators will pass Florida, and they'll drop 3 more spots. That would be ideal. But as it goes for now, they're just outside a playoff spot. They got the best chance at making that last wild card if Pittsburgh starts doing bad. And yeah, not great, but there's still some possibilities there. Now moving on to the next team that we're going to be talking about, it is the Columbus Blue Jackets. For the first time in a long time, they are no longer last place. They're currently tied last, but they have a game in hand over San Jose, so that puts them at 31st place instead of 32nd. So that's a change. In their last 2 weeks, they went 3-4, so 3 wins, 4 losses, including that one pretty bad loss against the Habs, which was unfortunate in a tank perspective, but we all knew the Habs would win that game. Now, speaking of the San Jose Sharks, like I mentioned, they are now bottom of the pack. Once upon a time, they were about to be 5th or 6th. They were 3 points, 2 points, even 1 point away from catching up to the Habs and passing them. So they just jumped off a cliff. They traded away Timo Meier, and ever since then, there's been no looking back. They've been the worst team in the league, no question. And after these past 2 weeks, they are now the favorites for Connor Bedard. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I want to see him go to San Jose. New Jersey's nice, but I don't know. Now, speaking of other teams that had a good chance of passing the Habs, this team still has a chance, but they have to turn it around. And that is the Anaheim Ducks. The past 2 weeks, they had 1 win and 5 losses. That is horrible for us. They're at 56 points. We're at 64 points. There's a pretty big gap there. 8 points for them to catch up to us. I don't see it happening. I think we've kind of fallen out of that top 4 area. It's very unfortunate, but the Anaheim Ducks are starting to lose more and more, and nothing we could do about it. And now there's only one other team that is below us as well, and that is the Chicago Blackhawks, who pretty much had just as bad as a time as the Anaheim Ducks. 2 wins and 5 losses in their last 2 weeks. I mean, that's what we kind of have to expect from a team that got rid of Patrick Kane, Max Domi. You know, who's going to start scoring for them? Who's going to start winning them games? There's no one at the moment, so they're going to tank hard, and they're going to be pretty close to that bottom spot. They're at 54 points, Columbus and San Jose at 53 apiece, so that bottom 3 is really heating up. There's a tight race down there, so that's going to be an interesting thing to keep our eye on. All right, now with all the teams below the Habs out of the way, let's get into the Montreal Canadiens. 73 games played, they have 9 left, and they're currently at 64 points. 8 points away from bottom 4, not great. So the past 2 weeks, they had 3 wins and 4 losses. Like I said, 1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. They blew them out of the water, 8-2. Nice little Harvey Pinard hat trick, but definitely did not help the tank. They also beat Tampa, which they probably shouldn't have. Just not good stuff there. Now we're kind of looking at a 5, 6, or 7 pick. There's no way we go under the 5. I don't think Anaheim's catching up to us. Like I said, 8-point gap. It's not going to happen. This week, though, we have 2 of our biggest games that we must lose. That is against the Philadelphia Flyers. If we beat them, that's horrible because they're only 4 points ahead of us. If they beat us, they're now 6 ahead of us with a game in hand. and it's going to be hard for us to catch up to them. But if we beat them, then we're getting closer to passing a team, which is so stupid. And the other team that is crucial for us to lose against is the Buffalo Sabres, because they have a chance at also passing the Florida Panthers. So those two games, we have to lose them. And now we're going to move on to the Arizona Coyotes. Like I said last time, they passed us, which was great. They made us go into the top 5, and they're currently sitting at a total of 67 points, 3 points ahead of us. And in the past 2 weeks, they had 3 wins, 2 overtime losses, and 2 regulation losses. So that's a lot better than our week, at least tank-wise. They got a couple points. They made sure to stay ahead of us. 3-point gap. It's nice, but it doesn't feel safe. We really need them to start picking up wins, and we're really going to need to start losing important games from here on out to make sure we solidify that top 5. And finally, the last team I want to talk about today is the Philadelphia Flyers, because like I said, they're going to be a huge team that's going to determine where we pick. The past 2 weeks, they had 4 wins, 1 overtime loss, and 1 loss. So great stuff from them. They moved ahead of us, but only being 4 points away from us when we are going to play them in the next 2 days. It's very concerning to me, and like I said, one of the most important games of our season, because the 4-point gap, it's more than just the 4-point gap. If we win, we close that down to a 2-point gap, and then we're also only 1 point away from Arizona. So we're going from 5th to very close to the 7th pick. And that is a difference that I do not want to see. I want us to make sure we solidify that 5th spot. So yeah, that does it for the recap on all the teams currently in the Bedard race. I'm going to go over the rest of the Habs schedule because I haven't done this yet, but there's only a few games left. So I just want to give some predictions to what I think the Habs are going to finish the season like. So tonight we have the Buffalo Sabres and tomorrow the Philadelphia Flyers. We have to lose those two. I don't even want to put a prediction because I don't want to jinx it. After that, we have the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, which I think those are 2 losses. Then next week, we have the Detroit Red Wings, followed by the Washington Capitals and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I unfortunately see us winning 1 or 2 of those games because the Habs always do well against Toronto. I could see us beating Detroit or Washington. It doesn't look that safe, in my opinion. And then we have 1 more week of hockey where we're going to finish off the season with the Islanders, followed by the Bruins. And you know what? I think we'll lose both of those. So out of the last 9 games, I have a feeling that we're going to win like 2-4, which is more than I'd like. I would like 0. But the problem is the Habs play with way too much heart. They're going to give it their all no matter what. Some playoff teams are going to be like resting some of their big players, and they're going to be weaker because of that, so it's going to give us more of a chance to play better. And unfortunately, we're probably going to pick up some useless points that might change the outcome of this season. Alright, so now you guys know the drill. The video is coming to an end, but we must do our tankathon spins. And since there's only like 2 weeks left, 3 weeks left of hockey, I'm going to do 10 spins. As you see here, we currently have the 5th best odds and the 14th best odds. So let's give it a spin. Here goes number 1. All right, nothing. Here we would be going down to 6 and staying at 14. Not what we want. Time for spin 2. Nothing again. Time for spin 3. That's not great. We go down 2. Not what we want at all. Time for spin number 4. Again, horrible. Spin 5. Nothing. Spin 6. Again, nothing. Spin 7. Man, it's not looking good. We got 3 left. Spin 8. Spin 9. All right, guys, this is the last spin. 1 more. Here we go. Spin number 10. You know what, guys? It's not looking good. And this just proves to you, we got to do better than 5th spot. And we're probably not. So we got to make sure we at least keep that 5th spot. I don't even need Bedard, man. I would be completely fine with us getting Fantilli. Winning that 1st or 2nd lottery, that would be a dream come true. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode of the Tank for Bedard series. If you did enjoy, don't be afraid to hit that like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you all next time. Take care.